Over the past decade or so, radical left-wing ideologies have been heavily promoted and spread rampantly throughout the world. This is no wonder, considering how many political elites and conglomerates spinelessly appeal to the left by promoting wokeness or cancel opposing viewpoints. Nowadays, it's arguably more politically correct to believe that a young child questioning their gender should have their genitals mutilated than to reinforce the deeply offensive view that gender can't magically be changed. Come out and say something obvious like a man can't get pregnant and you'll get labeled as a bigoted transphobe.
Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic.
But in certain countries, this leftist ideology has seeped so deeply within the system that disagreeing with their delusion not only will get you demonized, but you may literally get thrown in jail. Tonje Gjevjon is an artist and filmmaker from Norway. Gjevjon is a lesbian and a gay rights activist who has made films like this, which clearly promote homosexuality. Now, you'd think the left would appreciate this type of person. I mean, she's a lesbian, which means she's a part of LGBTQ, who advocates for gay rights and made a film promoting being gay. But the left doesn't actually care about your identity if you don't subscribe to their agenda. This happens all the time, by the way. The left likes to pretend they care about all sorts of marginalized groups until they disagree with them. For example, when a high school student chose to write about Candace Owens for her Black History Month project, she was berated and condemned in a school-wide email because she apparently picked the wrong type of black person to write about. Can't write about those conservative blacks. Anyway, Gjevjon got into some serious trouble with the Norwegian government, which has some of the most draconian laws against speech anywhere in the world. She is currently facing up to 3 years in prison for doing what heinous crime, you may ask? Well, buckle up for this one, folks. Gjevjon made a Facebook post explaining why a man can't be a lesbian.
How dare you?
How offensive! Not only is she being prosecuted by the Norwegian government, but the left is also using other tactics to destroy her life.
The trans activists, they have framed me and all the also older lesbians as Nazis. Suddenly all the lesbians turned Nazi in a way because we don't accept men as lesbians. So and also I have lost. I have been cancelled. I had 3 exhibitions and they have all been cancelled because they frame me as hateful. So I lost my income and I have been demonized and my reputation is totally wrecked. And also they contacted the employees of my wife to try to take down to frame her as hateful also, so that we shouldn't have any income at all.
Wow, how tolerant of them. So clearly this is tyrannical and wrong. The Norwegian government is prosecuting someone for having an opinion. But actually no. This is even worse than prosecuting someone for having an opinion. A man not being able to become a lesbian is a fact, even if you are subscribed to left-wing gender ideology. Let's break down why, shall we? Put yourself in the shoes of a leftist. According to them, in order for a man to theoretically become a lesbian, they would first have to transition, or at least identify as a woman, and then have sexual relations with other women. But in that case, that wouldn't be a man anymore, right? That former man now identifies as a woman, which I've been told makes her one. and you can't be a lesbian without first becoming a woman. So regardless of whether you believe you can pick and choose your own gender, being a woman is a prerequisite to being a lesbian. The funny thing about this is the left is inadvertently undercutting the premise of their own argument without realizing it. To say a man can be a lesbian is saying that anyone who transitioned from a man to a woman and is exclusively attracted to other women is actually still a man. That sounds pretty intolerant of people's gender identity, doesn't it? That's pretty
Transphobic.
if you ask me.
You fucking transphobe!
Well, anyway, if you like being able to speak openly about basic truths, definitely don't move to Norway. If you know anything about governments going tyrannical, it doesn't take a genius to see that Norway's speech laws are completely f***ed. I wish you luck, Gjevjon. I'm on your side, and I hope you don't go to jail for 3 years.